Welcome to the Gridiron Round-Up with your host, Randy Silver on Randy Silver TV. Today we have your college football Week 8 preview. Let's go! We're almost 3/4 of the way through the season. Today we have your news, storylines, rankings, matchups, and analysis. We have two big games this week. One, Ohio State versus Penn State, a Big Ten matchup that's going to have national title and conference title implications. And secondly, Alabama versus Tennessee. Last year, Tennessee beat Alabama on a game-winning field goal, stormed the field. First time they won in 15 years. If you remember, the students took the field goal post and threw it in the river, in the lake on campus. It was a wild scene. Tennessee got fined over $100,000 for storming the field, everything that happened. So this will be a fun matchup this time back in Tuscaloosa. We're going to preview it for you. So we have so much and more to dive into today. Let's get into it. The biggest story in college football today, it broke today. NCAA investigating number 2 Michigan amid sign stealing allegations. You usually hear this about in baseball, not in football. Michigan athletic director is saying, I want to personally assure you that Athletics will offer us complete cooperation in the NCAA with this matter. We hold ourselves to high standards and we will cooperate. The University of Michigan and Big Ten were both notified by the NCAA of an investigation on Wednesday. A source told ESPN the investigation includes allegations of similar violations by Michigan before the 2022 season. Upcoming opponents have not expressed opposition to playing Michigan after being notified of the allegation. So what's the actual allegations? Michigan had people attending games of future opponents as well as possible college football playoff contenders to gather information on signs used to call plays on offense and defense. Whew. No trash can, but that's pretty big. Coach Harbaugh was suspended for 3 games to start the season. Why? Because of breaking NCAA sanctions. You think that they would try to steer clear and not be in the cross-eyed again, which they are. So we'll see how this turns out. We'll keep you updated. This obviously may take months to play out. Hopefully it doesn't, and we'll let you know how it goes. Something that we have to update you on is when we did our review on Sunday, Brock Bowers, All-American tight end from Georgia, was only supposed to be out reportedly with a sprained ankle. Now we know, unfortunately, it was worse. He had to get surgery on his ankle, and there's no timeline for his recovery, which sucks for Georgia. Obviously, they're trying to go back for a three-peat, and they have the ability to do a three-peat, and he's a big reason why. He's going to be the number 1 tight end drafted when he comes out of college. Will easily be a top 10 pick, if not top 5. So Georgia can't wait to get him back. They should be cruising all the way until the SEC title game. They have the talent on their team to beat everyone else in their conference. It's not the best SEC side on their side. So we'll see how they do. They really hope to get him back, and we'll keep you updated there. Speaking of Georgia, they're ranked first in both the coaches poll and AP Top 25. We have the full ranking breakdown for you every Sunday. I'm going to go ahead and put the link of that video in the bio. You can see it right here for a second. If you want a full analysis breakdown, who went in, who went out, the biggest movers, go check that out. You can see it right here as well. You can pause the video if needed. College football scoreboard. So we talked about the biggest game of the week, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Got to wake up early Saturday morning for that one on the West Coast. Penn State versus Ohio State. We're going to break down that game for you. UCF plays Oklahoma, Air Force, Navy, and Air Force again is ranked for the first time in 4 or 5 years. Washington State, Oregon. Don't sleep on Washington State. They've been ranked all season, had a couple losses as of late. They're a good team. That could be a surprising game for Oregon. They may win just by it, or they could lose. So don't sleep on Washington State here. The other big game, we talked about Tennessee, Alabama. We're going to key into that. South Carolina, Missouri. North Texas, Tulane. Minnesota, Iowa. Texas, Houston. Virginia, North Carolina. Look how big North Carolina is, number 10th in the ranks. Ole Miss, Auburn. Michigan, Michigan State. Duke, Florida State. Duke is 16, traditional basketball powerhouse. Look at that. We're going to key on this game. Army, LSU. Utah, USC. We're going to key on this game. Not as thrilling with Utah and USC having the 1 loss, but still this is massive for Pac-12 title implications and potential national implications. Arizona State, Washington, and UCLA versus Stanford. Washington's going to the Big Ten. Arizona State's going to the Big 12. Might be the last time they're playing for a long time. UCLA is going to the Big 10. Stanford's going to the ACC. Last time they may be playing for a while. This gives the game a little bit more heat to it as well. those are your top 25. Let's just go through the schedule for you so you can take a look at all the games. What do we have today on Thursday when this is released? Rice Tulsa, James Madison Marshall. Friday, SMU Temple. SMU, of course, is going to the ACC as well. So here's all the games, so you can see what's happening in the bigger games, or it's a team in your favorite conference that you want to see. Texas got Houston, good interstate matchup there. Clemson, Miami, usually has some heat in this game. At least one team's normally ranked, not, but still should be a fun game. A lot of athletes out in the field. All right, let's break down Penn State versus Ohio State for you. Ohio State's predicted to win 64% to 36%. They're both 4-0 in conference. Ohio State on the season is 6-0, while Michigan is 7-0. You can see Penn State is right there at 6-0. So these teams all are going to be playing for each other to see who comes out of that conference to go to the Big Ten title game, which is wild to think about. They're all in the same division. Look at the other side, Iowa, Wisconsin, Northwestern. Not bad teams, but that's brutal that these top three are right there. Weather is going to be a mild 57 degrees in Columbus. 12 p.m. start. Again, wake up early on the West Coast. 100,000 plus fans will be there. It will be loud. It will be a sea of red versus the white or blue that Penn State will wear. When we look at the total yards, what could be key in this matchup? Both are averaging around 430, 440 yards a game offensively. Defensively, Penn State's only given up less than 200 yards a game. They have not really played a lot. When we look at who they played, NU, Iowa was ranked at the time, Mass, Illinois, not really big teams. Who's Ohio State had? Notre Dame won that big game there. And then the other games have really been blowouts. So big test for both teams. We'll see if they can step up. And of course, we'll be here Sunday to give you the full recap. The other big game of the week, Tennessee, Alabama. Alabama at home, favored 75% to 25% to win. You know it's going to be loud there. Alabama wants to avenge that loss that basically knocked them out of title contention. They ended up getting back in, of course, towards the end of last season because other teams lost, but that was looked at to say goodbye. In Tuscaloosa, 100,000 plus fans will be there. 70 degrees and sunny. Game time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Pacific. When we look at the rankings, Tennessee's 2-1 on their side of SEC. They got to go against Georgia. Yeah, good luck there. Georgia's going to steamroll. And you have Alabama 4-0 versus LSU is 4-1. So looks like they're running away with the conference. When we look at the total yards, Alabama's offense is not what it normally has been, which is saying a lot because they used to be a very defensive team. Then they've had some Heisman Trophy winners come through the QB. I mean, they had Mac Jones, did not win Heisman, but NFL starter. He's not playing good this season, but NFL starter. Of course, they have Bryce Young, Heisman winner is out there. They had Jalen Hurts for a little bit, then he went to Oklahoma. They have Tua Tagovailoa, so they have a bunch of players in there. Not having that caliber starting QB of that high level this season, the offense has taken a dip. Look at yards allowed. They're only giving up less than 300. Tennessee's giving a shade over 300, so it should be a very close game. Expect this game to stay within a touchdown a little bit. When we look at the plus minus of the game, Alabama is expected to win 8 points, so around the touchdown. But I think it could be closer. These rivalry games always are hard to predict. And again, last season, what happened? Tennessee won 52-49 on the last second field goal. Crowd went wild. People stormed the field. It was a scene to have. I was on a dinner date with my girlfriend at the time, and I had to put on the game because I got the notification on my phone. She was chill about it, which is cool. It was wild to watch. Hopefully we get a good game here as well. Duke, Florida State. Florida State is expected to win 80% to 20%. When we look at the overall stats of the team, Florida State's averaging almost 450 yards of offense a game to Duke's 388, while Duke's allowing 300 yards of offense to Florida State 362. So the question is going to come down to, can Florida State's offense move on Duke's defense? I'd like to think yes. Game time in Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee, Florida. A cool and mild 70 degrees and sunny. Florida State's expected to win by 14.5 points here. Why the spread? So it should be a good game. We'll see. Again, just two ranked teams. And on the other coast, Utah, USC. This game will be late, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox. Fox's big game of the day in prime time. Utah started the season really hot. They beat Utah. Utah did not beat themselves. They beat Florida. They were doing really well, then beat Baylor. Tough loss against Oregon State. They did not have the normal QB in there at that point. Then they come back and bounce around and beat Cal. So this game is massive. We look at Pac-12 conference standings. USC's 4-0. Yes, they lost Notre Dame. Notre Dame's not in Pac-12. So for them to be able to move into the Pac-12 title game, top 2 move in, this is going to be big for Utah to win this game. If USC can win this game, they're sitting in a decent spot. If they lose this, the Pac-12 title game is still there. It will be tough with tiebreakers. Can Caleb Williams bounce back from his tough game against Notre Dame? 3 interceptions. So we'll see a lot of implications here. This should be a fun game as well. That is your college football week 8 preview. News, storylines, rankings, matchups, analysis. Quick overview for you. Sunday we do more of a deep dive and we go over the games, the standings, and so much more. What game are you looking forward to most? Comment your thoughts. Of course, come back here for all your football news, basketball news, MMA news, and European football news. Thank you for watching. Enjoy college football, and we'll be back on Sunday. Bye, y'all.